This one's a more elaborate feature where we are bringing in task insights into process mining. This will, as a capability, open into private preview in the next week. So we will invite users to sign up, customers to sign up, and take a look at the experience. What this essentially is that we have unified recorders with task mining that can capture desktop data at scale. And with this capability, we are now bringing that recorded at scale data into business context within the system logs that are captured in process mining, so that a business analyst and COE lead can further drill down while they're trying to analyze process inefficiencies and overall process bottlenecks to get task level insights and understanding of how a particular activity happens at a task level, and learn about the various different variations and dependencies on different applications down to a task level and not just an activity level. So the goal here is to integrate seamlessly the two data sets we are collecting for the same activity, one that is being collected from the system logs and ingested into process mining, and the other that is collected through the unified recorder desktop actions that the business users do on their machine, parsing that data, filtering it out into the relevant activity context and specific case context, and ingesting it back into the process mining view. So that's the core capability we are bringing in preview next week. Who needs it is, as I covered a little bit earlier, it is the COE leads and business analysts who are trying to understand and root cause why there is certain bottlenecks existing in a particular set of activities they're trying to analyze. So this gives them task views down to the dependency on various disparate applications, learn about redundant context switching or copy paste actions that they're doing in order to do a particular activity that may be increasing its throughput time or causing delays, etc., that can be looked by the business analysts and COE leads. The customer benefits stand threefold. The first one begins with the ability to capture all available data with the best-in-class technology, be it ability to use the unified recorder to capture and govern the data that is collected at scale, or be it being able to seamlessly ingest the system logs into process mining. Jack covered in his earlier demo a little bit about making it easier to ingest system logs through our integrated extractors coming up as well. The second big customer benefit stands out to for the user to get a macro to micro view of being able to drill down at a task level how a particular action or activity happens, and eventually leading this all into actionable insights on once the analyst is able to validate their hypothesis on how and why the inefficiencies exist down at a task level, they can further action on them by exporting documentation or creating automation ideas back into the idea capture and management hub, etc. Key use cases stand for scenarios where the system logs are insufficient when in order to derive some actionable insights. And this is especially true when there is a high dependence on external applications to do a particular business process. And the core system of record could be SAP, Coupa, Salesforce, etc., is not enough to provide an overview and get an understanding of how the process actually happens. The other core scenario where this comes of help is when business users need to follow a standard manual set of redundant tasks, but we anticipate and observe at scale that there is a whole lot of variations happening to continue and perform that task. And hence, we can observe in that case some bottlenecks, inefficiencies in the process mining views itself, but we won't be able to understand specifics unless we drill down at a task level. Here are a few examples of actual use cases that can leverage this capability to drill down at a task level. Before I jump into the demo, I just want to cover the depth of who all is this built for and how are different personas in a particular organization learning from or contributing into this capability. The first is our IT admin or the internal compliance teams, who care about being able to capture all the data at scale within the compliance needs. So they have the ability to govern this at scale data capture, where they can look at the unified recorder settings and add custom schedules for the recorder. They can allow or deny specific applications. They can PII mask the data so that it is compliant with their internal policies. They can also enhance and work around the recorder performance. So the goal with the IT admin is to do the initial setup and ensure that the governance of the data capture is managed with the internal needs and compliance of the organization. Then comes the business analyst who has the core task to go ahead and understand where things are breaking and do the analysis at a task level. They need to perform a set of tasks in order to validate which which cases should be analyzed, and engage with their counterparts in the business teams and the process mining developer teams to go ahead and conduct those analysis and look at the outputs as they get it. The two other personas that need to contribute to this capability for an end-to-end analysis is the business user and the process mining developer. In their short capacities, both these personas need to contribute and work with the business analyst to give input parameters needed for continuing the analysis that the business analyst is doing. For the business user, they need to provide and refine a sample recording for the sets of activities that the business analyst is analyzing. And for the process mining developer, the idea is to collaborate with the business analyst to ingest the task mining logs at a data layer within the process mining application, so that the business analyst is equipped with the ability to create custom views, essentially use the task logs that are ingested to be used as an extension and hierarchical view of a process mining application itself, and use all the out-of-the-box capabilities available on the task logs that are ingested at the data layer. So this is an elaborate experience coming up together. We'll open the preview, as I said, next week. Be on the lookout for documentation on the Insider portal. But in the interest of time, let's go ahead and jump into a quick demo, and I want to give you an overview of what it looks like. So here I am in the process mining UI. At this point, I am wearing the hat of a business analyst for the ABC Corp, and I'm tasked with understanding why this particular process within my incident management tool of Jira is facing a bottleneck, and I'm tasked to understand how can I better the throughput time and learn about scenarios to work towards that. Before I continue and work on my analysis, there is a set of prerequisites that I have worked with. So I've worked with my IT team to ensure that an at-scale set of recorders are deployed on some of the business users. I knew that there is sets of these activities within the process where learning task level logs would provide me better insights. So I've gone ahead and deployed the recorders already. I can see the status of that in the task level insights section of process mining, where I can see that the recorder was started back in August, and there is already data being collected for about a month to 2.5 months for about 13 users who contribute to this application as well. In order for me to see who are those 13 users so that I am aware about the way I conduct my analysis, I can move to manage recorder settings. And as I do that, I can see a list of all the users who have been deployed the recorder for. I see here there are some errors, but I'm working with the IT team to work towards that. At this point, I see that for a lot of these users, there is data being collected recently as well. And hence, I can see some of these names and see that these are contributing to the process mining application. I can go ahead and drill down specifically into some of the cases they have worked on so that the task recorder data can be pulled into process mining views. With that, I continue my analysis and I move into my process graph. I try to learn which are the sets of activities where throughput times are longer. I quickly update the node metrics, and I see that there are a few activities standing out with the darker shades of blue, where there is a higher throughput time I can visibly see. For one of the activities, changing status to dev in progress, while this is one of the lighter blue boxes, I'm aware that this is one of the activities that should not take long at all. When an engineer is changing status for a ticket in Jira as they continue with their work, changing status to dev in progress should not take about 3.5 weeks on an average. I want to drill down into this particular activity and learn what might be happening behind the scenes. Where are the engineers stuck and spending time? So I go ahead and do some more root cause analysis. And at this point, I have created a couple of filter collections to drill down specifically into what might be going on behind the scenes and further drill down into specific cases which may be contributing to a higher throughput time. So for now, I've created this change status to dev in progress filter collection where I have looked at just the 4 users for whom the recorder was turned on as well, as I validated that from the recorder settings. And I see here that I have added a note where about 14% of the cases are affected, where the throughput time goes up to about 14 days, which is double than the actual average. And hence, I want to understand there if there are any automation potential ideas or not. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and use that as the filter. Let me go ahead and use that as a filter collection to learn about which are those cases and take a understanding of the context for those. You can see here my view is filtered out to just those 14% of the cases. And I'm continuing to observe that as it loads, changing status to dev in progress is a bottleneck. Now is the time when I want to initiate my task level analysis so that I can drill deeper into that particular activity for these 120 odd cases, which are being worked on by the 4 users for whom the recorder was turned on as well. As this loads, I'm going to, give me 1 second. Let's see. So I can quickly navigate to the node, and from the task level studies that I see here, I get an option to analyze at scale recorded tasks. I can go ahead and analyze the at scale recorded tasks. And I observe here that the first step is to get some recorded samples. Turns out I have initiated a set of recorded samples with my business users that I can simply use. If not, I have the option to invite business users as well, who can record the sample activity and provide a view of how they typically do this step. Because I have something created already, I'm going to jump and say, use this particular activity as reference and use it for the filter collection which I have created, which is changing status to dev in progress. And I'm aware that it is for the few users that I had shortlisted as part of my understanding of for whom the recorders were turned on. This flow is getting a little more seamless, and you'll be able to automatically learn which are the users for whom the recorders are turned on. So be on the lookout for that enhancement. But for now, I'm going to select them manually by validating which are the users for whom the recorders were turned on. I go ahead and hit apply. And second, I should be able to do it now. What ends up happening is the analysis is initiated. I should have gotten a pop-up. The analysis gets initiated, and I navigate to the task level insights view to understand the various different analyses that I've already kickstarted. For now, I'm going to show you the results of what was already created as part of the analysis. And you see here for this particular activity of changing status to dev in progress, the one we are looking to dig deeper into, I did run an analysis last week, and I can see here 2 things. So there's an average duration, which is the data observed for the cases analyzed purely from the source system. It says that the average duration was just about 10 seconds. But when I observe the data that is recorded from the recorder, which says the average recorded duration, this is what I'm observing, that the recorder shows that there's about 22 minutes being spent and not just 10 seconds, as is mentioned into the system logs. I have the ability to go deeper into that analysis, and at a particular task or at a particular case level, learn the dependency on various different applications. So you see here for the particular filter collection that I had created, I have analyzed all of these cases, and it turns out that the user is in fact spending majority of their time in Atlassian. There's some time going in GitHub as well. And for individual cases that I ran the analysis on, I can also see specifically at a specific time frame, when is that the user was spending time in those particular applications. So you see here for this particular case, Alexander T, we found about close to a minute of the recorded time for this particular case that was done in the month of September. With these task level views now, I have the ability to go deeper into individual application views. And I have the last piece of the puzzle is that I have the ability to ingest the sets of these analyses that I've run into the developer mode at a input data layer as well. So working with the RPA developer, I would also have the ability to ingest the data through data transformations for the sets of analysis that I have conducted, and that I can then use that data to create custom dashboards, apply global filters, etc. So with the process mining developer, they can navigate to the data transformations view, and they see here that they have the ability to now pull in some task level data as well. This will provide an entire list of various different analyses that have been conducted in the past, along with the duration and some additional input parameter insights, so that the RPA process mining developer can refer. And as they are comfortable with which are the sets of activity analysis that they want to ingest, they can go ahead and simply add that data that essentially pulls in the data that is being analyzed into the data layer of the process mining application itself. So now we are ingesting the analyzed data back into the process mining views. I know it's a whole lot that we've covered, and it would have been nicer to go deeper into specific views and get to a set of analysis that are being run. But for now, given this is truly an elaborate capability upcoming, starting preview next week, it would be great if folks get a chance to sign up for the preview, get an understanding of what we're bringing to the table, and understand how this can benefit the analysts and COE teams that eventually need a view and understanding of where things may be happening at a task level.